Joining me now is Senator Alex Padilla of California, who was at that confirmation hearing today. And I wonder if you got a satisfactory answer. I'm looking at this list. I've got 3 pages of everyone from President Biden, former President Biden, to Kamala Harris, to Merrick Garland. I could go on and on. Bill Barr, John Bolton. What confidence did you get out of this hearing today that Kash Patel does not, in fact, wish to investigate people on his enemies list?
So good to be back with you, Joy. And the short answer is no. In fact, what little confidence there might have been in Kash Patel serving in the FBI director position went completely downhill more and more throughout the course of today's hearing. And before I go any further, let me just take a moment to offer my condolences to the families of those who perished in last night's tragic plane crash on the outskirts of DCA in Washington, D.C. Horrible, horrible tragedy.
Indeed. Thank you for saying that. I want to note here, just an NBC note here, that 1 current and 3 former FBI officials have told NBC News that several top FBI executives promoted by Director Christopher Wray were told today to resign or retire, and told they will be demoted or reassigned if they do not leave. This includes about a half dozen executive assistant directors who are some of the Bureau's top managers. They oversee criminal, national security, and cyber investigations. These are career civil servants, not political appointees. That feels like a bad sign when somebody who has engaged in conspiracy theorizing on podcasts now gets to come in and see if he can find any evidence of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination, Joy. It's how bad is Kash Patel as a nominee for director of the FBI? Unprepared, unqualified, clearly coming in only because of his loyalty to Donald Trump and prepared to carry out his vendettas. But when you take that together with Pam Bondi, on track to be the next Attorney General of the United States, who also leaves a lot to be desired, Tulsi Gabbard to head the intelligence efforts for a Donald Trump administration. This is nothing but Donald Trump trying to seize complete control and command of the federal government, despite the Constitution, despite the law, and only for his political objectives. It's dangerous, it's unsettling, and the big question I have after the multiple confirmation hearings I've been a part of these last few weeks is, where are Senate Republicans with a conscience? Because we can talk about the nominees and their disqualifications, we can talk about the president, how horrible he is. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised if you consider his first term. But where are Senate Republicans in their commitment to their oath of office, to the Constitution, or even their own constituents? Their silence is deafening.
Yeah, I want to play up your fellow California Senator Adam Schiff and his exchange, really that's along those same lines today.
I want you to turn around. There are Capitol Police officers behind you. They're guarding us. Take a look at them right now. Turn around.
I'm looking at you. You're talking to me.
No, look at them. I want you to look at them if you can, if you have the courage to look them in the eye, Mr. Patel, and tell them you're proud of what you did. Tell them you're proud that you raised money off of people that assaulted their colleagues, that pepper sprayed them, that beat them with poles. Tell them you're proud of what you did, Mr. Patel. They're right there. They're guarding you today. Tell them how proud you are.
And among his conspiracy theories, Kash Patel has alleged there are government gangsters who are plotting against Donald Trump and, quote unquote, literally allowing gunfire at our president. I'm going to play one more clip. This is something from his children's book, him promoting it. Take a listen.
We are living in unparalleled times of corruption in both our media and government. It is our job to expose the truth, no matter what the cost. My name is Kash Patel, and I have written the first ever children's Russiagate book. It's called The Plot Against the King. It is a fantastical telling by me, the Russiagate chief investigator under then Chairman Nunes, of how we triumphed to put truth over evil.
And Senator, perhaps that unseriousness is why, when Trump apparently reportedly tried to consider making Kash Patel the deputy director of the FBI in his first term, then Attorney General Bill Barr told then White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows that Patel would only achieve the post, quote, over my dead body. He wrote that in his memoir. Does this seemingly unserious person, what damage do you think he could do as head of the FBI?
Well, I think you can do a tremendous amount of damage, beginning with weaponizing and politicizing FBI agents to go after Donald Trump's political enemies. That's the worst kept secret in MAGA world. But I'll give you another more serious example, Joy. You know, as the FBI director, he would oversee the national background check system that we have for gun sales in America. The FBI is also in charge of regulating machine guns, as it is assault weapons don't belong in a civic society, machine guns especially. But when I asked him about those two issues today, he played ignorance. You know, he evaded the question and seemed to not know that this is part of the portfolio of the FBI director. I've heard both Republicans and Democrats over the years express their concern about gun violence in America. And here's Kash Patel, Donald Trump's handpicked person, only because of loyalty to Trump, on the verge of being the FBI director. Where are Republican members of Congress willing to stand up and do the right thing?
Let me ask you very quickly, just a sort of a very quick question. There is a lot of thinking among Democrats just out in the world that Democrats should stand against all of these nominees. That none of you should have voted for Sean Duffy for FAA. None of you should have voted for Pete Hegseth, and I know you did not. That no one should vote for the Laken-Riley Act, which is going to authorize and open the door for immigrants to be sent to Guantanamo. Do you think that Democrats ought to shift their strategy towards saying no to all of these nominees?
So I think there's a difference between the nominees and then, like you said, the Lincoln-Riley Act, which is actual legislation, proposed law. When it comes to the nominees, it's a simple majority vote, and that's what we're looking for, Republicans with a backbone to stand up and push back against Donald Trump. When it comes to legislation, as we've seen with at least one resolution this week, when Democrats stand together, we can leverage that to keep bad things from happening. And yes, we should remain united, because if you look at the bills coming over from the House of Representatives, it's divisive, it's reckless, and it's dangerous for our country.
Senator Alex Padilla of California, thank you so much.